Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann, a podcast that explores protection, healing, and personal empowerment through meaningful conversations and real-life stories. If you're sensitive, intuitive, or seeking clarity in this busy world, you've come to the right place. Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Lois Hermann. I'm welcoming you to an Inspiring Hope. And I have with me one of my very favorite people on this planet, Judy Julin. And we were just having a girl discussion, and I said, wait a second, Judy, let's record this because the things that you're saying, the messages that you're bringing, people need to hear. People need to hear this. So I was talking about our guides are saying it's going to get tougher before it gets better, that we've got to hold on and keep our energy up. And what did you say?
I agree. It's going to get tougher, but yes, it's going to happen faster. Yet the good news is we know it's coming. Many people don't know it's coming. And I'm sure I'll be surprised at some things as well. We know it's coming and it's towards a greater end. You know, we started our conversation about you watching Atlas Shrugged and how it mirrors what's going on in the world today. And you got to watch that movie because it's happening now. And I feel grateful that I think more and more people are going to be aligned with their mission and to do mission-oriented, mission-centered work. And that's why what you do is so important in your work, in all that you do. So you don't just do one thing. Can you just explain it a little bit? Can you give me an overview of all your offerings in the elevator pitch? Because I don't think people really understand the scope of what you offer in today's times.
Oh, goodness, where do I start? We do the energy clearing work because that's the foundation. We're all under attack. We all have energy that we pick up, that we carry with us. Clearing our energy is key. Protecting our energy is key. However, part of that also includes empowering ourselves beyond that clearing. And we clear as a team, we clear energy around people. But one of the things that is our secret sauce or secret ingredient is the embedded spirits. Many people have spirits that are hiding in them that have taken up residence since childhood. And this is a spirit that feels safe with this person. It's usually a very timid spirit, a very needy spirit, and we are able to identify them through some of the techniques that we use. So we've had several client sessions this week where we've identified things like that. We've also identified devices and cloaks and energies that are sent from beyond that it's hard to talk about because it's not things that people in their own mainstream world can relate to until you start talking about it. And then they're like, this kind of makes some sense. So we do a lot of work with the energy and we teach people how to keep their energy strong and protected. That's one of our foundations, is what can you do to keep your energy strong? As I'm watching some of the stuff unfolding that I want to call betrayal on organizational level, I won't go into the detail about the specific organization that I'm involved in, but there's huge betrayal going on by upper management. And the people, the everyday people are looking at this going, what is going on? And it's very hard as an empath to see, sense, and feel all this without allowing it to rip open our heart, without feeling it and woundedness. So for me, what I'm recommending that people do is find something to be grateful for. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my gardens. I will escape into my gardens just to get away from that mind talk where I'm seeing and hearing and feeling all these people who are so upset about what's going on in their world. So our message, our mission is to bring the light, is to hold the light, the lighthouse, stay steady while those waves and the storms pass through, helping people to learn how to keep their light steady no matter what's going on. So that's
that's one of the many things I love about your website is your lighthouse. If people haven't seen your website, loishermann.com, Hermann with 2 N's. It is so beautiful. And it really does portray your essence. And And what I've said to you again and again, though, Lois, is it's so timely. I'm sure you yourself and your students, those that are very sensitive and empathic, have felt betrayed, have felt frustrated, have felt weary of all the deception and what's going on in the disclosure in the world.
Yes.
Yet you give people tools. And that's one you have. Can you just go over so you have all your different trainings? If you could just outline your trainings, I would love to. I know them, but I would love for people to hear about them.
Certainly, one of the trainings that we offer to all of our clients who sign up for a 3-session program, they get an 8-hour training. We call it the Lightworker Energy Integrity Training, which is a whole bunch of videos on what you can do. I am surrounded by crystals and fun things like that. Just it goes into things about how to use crystals, how to use floral essences, what you can do to maintain healthy, positive energy. So there's a whole series of simple things that many people look at this as a review, but then there's always that little nugget. Oh, I didn't know about that. So that's a program that you can purchase, but we give it to our clients. And then we have our Lightworker Empowerment Training, which is an 8-week, 8-module training that helps Lightworkers to protect themselves. Because I have 3 hypotheses that I think you may have heard me say. The one that's the most dramatic is that in the work that we do, 100% of Lightworkers are under attack of some sort. If you're not a Lightworker, if you're in 3D world and the only thing that you're focused on is making money and greed and power and all that, you don't really have to worry because they don't really want you. They don't want your energy. They're not feeding off of your energy. They feed off of the energy of fear and lack and shame and guilt, yes. However, their candy is the energy of the light workers because they shine so brightly because their heart is pure. Their intention is pure, so they have a pure energy. The challenge is for a light worker, if they're not protecting themselves, they can become vulnerable. And most of these beautiful light workers have no clue how to protect themselves. And so that's a large part of what we have decided to do is to teach the light workers, especially those who are out there doing Reiki and other types of, nurses, doctors, teachers, people who are doing healing type or interacting with other people from their heart need to learn how to protect their energy. So that's the first level 1. And level 2 is NLP. And Judy, you sat into my NLP training as NLP empowerment. So it's NLP with extra spice. How to read people, how to understand and how to relate. So neurolinguistic programming, that's the NLP training. And so everything is online. I have learned over the years to develop the program so that people can take them in the comfort of their own home. So Judy, what did you think of the NLP training?
Well, I loved it. And here's the thing, it's so practical. You think of NLP, you might think of working with energies or frequency-based education, which is what I do also. You think it's not really grounded. What you do with NLP is certainly it's based in it's science and it's based on research and it's so practical. So I can use it when I'm talking with family members. I can use it when I'm in business meetings. I could even use it in my own mind as I have self-talk. And I love NLP. It was wonderful, and I'm so glad I took it. And I took another one of your trainings too. It was the Lightworker. That was fantastic. Met your people that attend your classes and the people that are on your team, because I've also met your team. Because I also was part of what do you call that? Hypnosis team support, and that was incredible. And you took me back. And quite honestly, I've been doing this work with education for so long. And I learned that because I've had ideas that were not yet here as far as how to quantum frequency-based education. And people say, what do you mean by that? Frequency-based reading, writing, and arithmetic. And now we're learning that really it is all about frequency. And I want to continue with your offerings, yet I also want to talk about the fact that, and let's keep this in our mind, that the incredible website that you've put together, and I don't know that you're able to talk about a current project that you're working on, that I'm working on with you, so we might not talk about it. However, that's going to keep you very busy. So what you've done so beautifully is it kind of can teach itself. Your classes are online. I've gone back and watched very valuable, but when you're doing other mission driven work, which I know you're going to be doing in this other project, you have people to carry on your work because it's so important. Now, will the people on your team carry on without you, or how will that work?
They can, yes. I have a couple of people on my team that are incredible at doing what we call navigators. So when we are working with clients, the unique thing that I have learned over the years of dealing with lost souls and what I call nasties. The lost souls are usually just, it's like a child lost in the woods, and we help them to find a safe place in the light. I call myself the shipping department. It's the guides. They do the work. Archangel Michael, Jesus, whoever the client calls will help these these lost souls. However, we encounter a lot of what I refer to as nasties. So over the past several years, we have developed a program where I don't do this work alone anymore. I've seen too many people be taken over, shall I say, by the shadow side, the dark forces. They're very real. People are very unaware of them. And that leads me to my second hypothesis, and that is that people who are praying, when they say, "Oh, I pray to Jesus," 100% of light workers are under attack. 90% of spirits that come through when somebody is praying are not from the light. So when I'll ask the client, "So tell me about Jesus's eyes." "Oh, they're red, they're mean." That is not Jesus. There, people have called out in times of drama, trauma, pain, and the first entity that comes through comes in for a contract. Unless they specifically call a guide from the light, or specifically someone that they know who they're connected with, then these false gods come in, latch on, drain energy. So that is part of the level 3 training, is to teach people how to be very discerning with the energy clearing and alignment practitioner training, so that they can determine, is this a lost soul? Is this an entity that is of malintent? Like I said, I call them nasties. There are many different kinds. And so in the training, we help teach people how to discern what you are dealing with. People who are mediums really need to take these courses because they need to understand who they're dealing with. And that also leads me to my third hypothesis, is that 80% of past lives are not the client's own. So let me explain that. Many times you'll go to a psychic or a medium, or you've had a past life hypnosis journey where, oh my, in a past life, I killed my brother with an axe. And then it leaves that person feeling really sad about, I was capable of killing someone with an axe. And so there's this attitude of, well, everybody has done evil things. In these 30 something years of me doing this work, that is not what I have discovered. If you, Judy, had to kill someone in self-defense, that's a different story, and maybe you had to. But someone who has, this speaks to the frequency you're talking about. If someone has killed someone, that's a low vibrational energy on the Hawkins logarithmic scale of energy consciousness. Down here, anger, blame, shame. If someone is at that low level, they are not capable energetically of going into the light, of reincarnating. So that spirit is stuck here. That spirit then comes to family members, people who are there at the time of their death, other people who call out to them. So now you've got these angry, nasty spirits who are working through the living host. It's like the movie Ghost. He dies, he's killed, he stays and observes what's going on because he wants to solve the mystery. And so once the mystery is solved, he's able to come to a medium at that point, and she is able to help him to solve the mystery. Anyway, once it's solved, he's able, with assistance, to go into the light. That's what our team does, is we help people to ascend into the light, and we teach people how to do this. But so many mediums and other psychics will see a spirit, but they're not discerning enough. Is this a true past life of this person? Or is this an embedded spirit or a spirit around this person? And if so, can we help the person? Is instead of just, oh, wow, isn't this funny? Look, we can go on a witch hunt or a ghost hunt. That's like poking fun at the animals at the zoo. It's cruel. So our mission is to rescue these spirits and help them to get to a place of healing. And those that have done horrible things, it's above my pay grade where they go. That's up to the archangels. We rescue them and help them to be removed from our planet, from our existence. Archangel Michael and his legions, they know where to take them, but they need to be removed, because what happens is they just go from person to person to person and bring their angry energy to their living hosts. So that's a large part of the work that we do and teach people how to discern what exactly is it and how can we help. So when we work with a client together, there is a navigator, somebody who is consciously focused and aware. You're in an altered state because you're so focused, but you're aware of what's going on. You're asking the questions and you're monitoring everything. Then there is what we call a communicator, who tends to be more of the psychic kind of person, who's reading the energy, who's communicating through and with and for the client. And then we have a third one of our team. They're all trained at level 4 or higher. And the protector is saying, something's coming in here. I'm sensing something here. I'm getting chills. I'm smelling something. They're using their clairs to determine what is coming in that could be interfering with the energy of the session. So we work as a team, which is a very unique way of helping these lost souls and other entities to find their path, whether they really want to or not. We have one group that we have recently discovered that have been hiding for eons from the Galactic Federation of Light. And so we uncovered them and are systematically removing them, so more ships will come through. Now, granted, I've never encountered an entity like a tall gray or reptilian or a mantid or any of those in physical form. Everything that we're seeing, sensing, and feeling is in the unseen world, which we tap in by going into a trance state. And so we're basically being able to see beyond the veil. We're able to see through, and we're trained to work as a team and corroborate and validate and verify with one another. It's just very powerful, wonderful work. And so the client is able to, the first session, the client receives all of this attention. The second session, the goal is for the client to be able to see with us, to journey with us, so that we are teaching them how to keep their energy safe and protected. And then the third session is the
And one of the many things that I take in my life now that you've shown me and taught me is creating a sacred space. That's something that is, I would love that you would talk a little bit about that. And I have one other point that I'd like to have you reflect on and perhaps answer. You talk about lost souls that have passed over. What about the lost souls that are in our midst?
Yes.
So that's just what I want to say. So please take that and do what you want.
So there's a lot of people who talk about NPC, non-player characters. There are a lot of lost souls in our midst, and it's very sad. There are a lot of non-human souls in our midst. The people, like I said, those that would intend harm, those that have no compassion, that lack compassion, that are coming just purely from ego and greed. They are either being manipulated or they have lost their soul. They have lost the humanness, their human soul.
But they don't even realize it, Lois. I don't think many of them. I have people in my life that are like that. And as you spoke, as we just got on today, and you said it's tiresome.
Mhm.
It's weary. It causes me to be weary of that environment, to be around those people, because I can't do anything for them and there's no nourishment. Most of the time, they're not comfortable with who I am because of who I am.
Mhm.
And for me, it's hard because it takes a lot of my energy just to maintain myself in their frequency.
Mhm. And that's because your frequency is vibrating so high that it's kind of like nails on a chalkboard to them. You're annoying to them. It's like, you're shining too bright. It's too, I can't take your energy. And we talked, you mentioned earlier, I watched the movie Atlas Shrugged this weekend. It's binge watched. There's 3 episodes. People should watch this because it truly is a depiction of what is going on in our world today. So you have those that are heartless, that are truly, they have no more human heart, that are the controlling factors. Then you have the pawns that are being taken advantage of that don't know what to do about it. And they're just frustrated and angry and fear and all of that. They're being harvested, they're used as pawns. Then there are those who, like you and I, who are aware. Like you said, Judy, earlier, I, you woke up, I woke up and said, what is going on here? And have worked to keep my energy vibrational signature high so that I am aware, but being aware makes me different. It makes me not fit in with either of those controllers or the ones that are so angry because I don't want to be angry. That's a low vibrational energy. I want to stay in my positive energies, but I have to work at it. I've got to do the work to get up there. So I won't give it away, but you should really watch what happens in Atlas Shrugged because it is a microcosm of what we're dealing with right now. And people talk about a timeline split. We are living in a timeline split right now where you've got these people who are, they're just so driven and or angry. And then you've got your spiritual people who are attempting to hold the energy. And attempt is the word because it takes work to hold the energy because those unseen energies, entities want to lower our energy. They want to drain our energy. They don't want us connecting with our guides because when we can connect with our guides, we got all kinds of power because it's not our power. It's divine power that comes through us because we've invited specific, detailed power in. So I went off on a tangent
You know,
basically
Lois,
about
when you talk about spiritual people and high frequency people, there's also, I'm going to say, gradations within that, because I know of people who do yoga, who do meditation, who speak about self development, but they're oftentimes driven by ego or greed, or ultimately within themselves, they feel less than. So they're overcompensating. So there's different variations. It's not just black and white. Either you're awake or you're not awake. And I love that you said that my goal is to, my goal is to keep my frequency where it needs to be. And that takes work. A lot of it is inner child work. A lot of it is your tools that you teach people about creating sacred space and cleaning out. I love one of your, well, it's several courses about cleaning your energetic field. And it's just like hygiene. It's like spiritual
spiritual
hygiene,
hygiene. That's
which
exactly.
I just love.
And we just, and the beautiful thing about my team has been working to get together, meeting weekly since 2019, believe it or not. Every week, we do a journey to bring light to our beautiful planet. We
What
did
prompted you to meet weekly? That way back when? That's about when I started to wake up.
COVID crazies, and we started meeting. And so the team has changed over the years. It's different people. Now you actually have to be trained. We have the community of light, which is bringing light. We're just shining light. And then we have my ECA team who you have to be a level 4, a master, before you can be on this team because we're doing the deep dives on this one. We're going after the nasties and clearing the ley lines and the tunnels and all that stuff. But you have to be prepared in order to do this. But we've been doing this weekly to help clear the planet. And we also keep each other clear. That's the other piece because as we're out and about, we get slimed. Think Ghostbusters, we get slimed by life's situations. Would that we could stay in that beautiful, uplifted state all the time. But the minute that we have a cat that has a problem or somebody yells at us or something that happens, it shakes our world, our frequency lowers, and then we have to think, okay, I got to get back up again. So you mentioned sacred space. What I was going to say is the sacred space was given to me in these journeys. And we're always evolving. We're always getting new information. So, for instance, just this past week, new information came to us about the sacred space that's evolved and evolved and evolved. And one of the new information that came through, and I'll share this with everyone, when you set sacred space, you're setting an intention for protection for your immediate auric energy field, for your home, for your land, for your family, for your car. The message that came through was set it with the intention that you already know you're protected, that is amplifying your protection. So in other words, never come from a state of lack or a fear of wanting, but just, I know I'm protected, so poof, let's just make it even better. So it was very interesting, and I loved that. One of the people on our team got that download, and so that's the beautiful part about doing these sessions. And one of the beautiful things about doing these journeys together is we almost always future pace. So in the middle of everything's going on, circling back to what you said when we first started this conversation, Judy, is we see that things are rocky right now, but it is going to be beautiful. Where we are going is going to be magnificent. And it's not just magnificent for the people, but for Mother Gaia. The water is pure, the air is pure, the animals are healthy and happy, and the plants and everything is symbiotic and beautiful and glowing. And that's our vision, and that's our intent, is as a team to tap into that energy and to amplify that loving, beautiful energy.
Have you heard, Lois, recently about the solar flashes that have been occurring? And there's supposed to be another one, or Bo's Belt. I guess that's the astrological thing that's going on right now. But what are your thoughts about the solar flashes and how that impacts frequency on the planet and within the humans?
Well, we're all we feel all of this, and it manifests in different people in different ways. Some people feel it, some of our teammates feel it so dramatically, others it's just, oh, not really. But that's okay, because it's just however your energy signature is wired, shall we say. What we're discovering is many of us are star seeds, we come from different lineages. So you've got your Arcturians, you've got your Lemurians, you've got your Pleiadians, and each one of those has different senses and abilities. And so those that are of one type might really feel the solar flashes more so than others. So it's just whatever you're sensing and feeling, pay attention to it, because it's real. And when we dismiss it, we're dismissing what are called your clairs, your clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant. When you pay attention to your wisdom, the wisdom of the sixth sense, the sixth and more senses, then you're tapping into your authentic self.
Just had a flash of something that I thought would be really wonderful. When you think about the teams that you're nurturing, training, empowering, protecting, teaching them how to protect themselves, wouldn't it be wonderful if you could send these teams out around to support business titans, to support political leaders, to support international organizations? I almost see that in the future, that it's a really fundamental aspect of not only maintaining balance within oneself, but maintaining a cohesive balance within a purpose-driven organization or a political structure. What do you think of that?
I think that would be ideal in our education system. Like you have talked about all of the work that you've been doing with frequency-based education. It's not just the students, but the teachers, getting them to embrace frequency and keeping their energy strong and healthy. because our children are a microcosm of what is happening at their home. And then they bring it to school and the others, it ripples through and they feel it. So what if we could teach the teachers and teach the children early how to keep their energy strong and protect
And the parent. So like I
and the
said,
parent.
that vital triad of the parent, teacher, and child. I think your work has so many applications, and I'm so excited that you've got your infrastructure in place,
It is.
especially because I know of the wonderful work you're doing and going to continue to do in other realms, that your work can continue on
Mhm.
and you can dip in when you want to and are needed. Yet you've got an incredible team who many of whom I've met who
Yeah.
are wonderful. And this is really the new what was the business?
We're talking about the new now.
I'm there now. What
I
was what was that business that was all the rage in I think the 80s and the 90s? It was I don't know if it was from China. It was a business philosophy. Do you remember that? It was for how to run your businesses. But I really think that your philosophies of frequency in protecting yourself, empowering yourself, really is important in business and politics and running worlds. So it's my intention for you that that's where I know that your work is going to go into the schools with teachers and parents because I want to be a part of that with you. So I'm so excited with what the future holds. Yes, it's challenging. Yet with the tools that you've taught me, at least, I feel better equipped to protect myself. And now I know that I understand why people sometimes don't understand me. And that's okay because I know where I'm going and I know what I want to accomplish. And I know what I want to contribute.
Right.
To me, contribution, a purpose driven life is, I think, the most important thing for me and my faith is also equally important. And for you to help about the other energetic realms, the
Mhm.
angels, the archangels, Jesus, that we can, those that of the light, different planets, different dimensions, that's coming. It's here. It's been here. We're
Yeah.
now waking up to it. We've been anesthetized so that we don't see it, but now we see it. And I guess that's what you talk about with that timeline split. Are there more than two timelines? There's probably
Oh, there
a
are
multitude of them, correct?
multiple. Yes. And we can go back and forth between the different timelines. And when we're around these 3D people, I call them the lower vibrational energy people, we feel it. And then it's okay. I need to pull myself back to who I am, to my authentic self. And I want to give my Archangel Michael credit for it's been 30 years now. He came through in a very powerful session. And that's where the first part of the protection came from. And he said, you must always ask for protection first, then healing, then empowerment. And so that's been the foundation of the work that we do and that we teach. And what was interesting is he said specifically at the time across 8 levels, and we've added more, but most of you are familiar with asking for protection, healing, and empowerment across the physical, the mental, the emotional, spiritual, psychic. Most people are very aware of those. But think about it also social, financial, professional, environmental, technological. We can continue to add that all those areas need to be protected, healed, and empowered. And that's a large part of what we aspire to and teach.
Well, thank God for you and your team, Lois.
Thank you for you. This is awesome. Thank you for this spontaneous show. I've been working in my gardens a lot, or shall I say, escaping in my garden. And I've been needing to do a show for a while, so this was a spontaneous show. So thank you, Judy.
Anytime you'd like to go out in your garden and snap a few pics, I love nature. I love flowers. I love gardens. Because
Yeah.
I remember you've sent me some in the past. And so I can only imagine it's beautiful in this season at your home. So
Show you
anytime
when
you,
we get off. I'll show you a couple of pictures that I just took. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. And please get out in your gardens. Go do whatever you love to do, be it do something in the water, something with pets. Look at the flowers, grow your flowers, do something that gives you joy, especially at this period of time, because there is a lot of turmoil and a lot of people who are unaware that they're in turmoil. They end up causing turmoil for others. So be the light in someone's day, as I often say. God bless.
If something we shared resonates with you, I invite you to stay connected. Follow the show, share it with someone who would benefit, and explore more at loishermann.com. Together we clear the storms and shine the light of hope. Until next time, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day.